good morning or welcome back. If you're wondering what the hell is going on behind me, I'm going to insert some clips from last week, which will explain what is going on here, especially if you haven't seen on Instagram. I have been filming for a couple of days, but I haven't actually got around to talking to you yet. But as you can see, I moved downstairs. Okay, don't get too excited. I have not moved house. I have simply moved into my mum's room, old room, because she has moved into her house. So yeah, it kind of happened overnight all of a sudden. And yeah, I wasn't initially really feeling the pull to move downstairs because I like our room upstairs. But there were a couple of good reasons to do it. First of all being, well, the major one really for me, I didn't want Inez's room to be the first occupied room in the house when you come up the stairs, and because we're at the very top of the house, you know, I just felt unsafe. I felt too far from the front door, too far from what was going on downstairs. So that was reason number one to move downstairs. Reason number two being, a lot of the stuff in this house is kind of staying here until it's sold, sort of for staging purposes, because there's a little bit of redecoration that needs to happen, and then there will be viewings. You know, this house is going to be sold. So it's quite nice to have the master bedroom neatly occupied for that purpose as well. And yeah, I mean, practically now that we have moved, it's quite wonderful just to be closer to downstairs and not have to go up so many flights of stairs to do stuff. And yeah, initially, just for a day or so, we did try and just sleep downstairs for safety reasons, and then, you know, get ready upstairs, but it was just too much up and down, getting bits, and so we just did it properly. I just took a couple days to do it properly. It took surprisingly long, obviously, but you know, at least this stuff does have to make its way out the front door, so it's coming downwards. At least it's not going up or something. So yeah, so the house is gonna go on the market at some point. As I say, there's going to be some redecoration first, so it's not like imminent. Of course, it's very sad in some ways. You know, it's the end of an era. We lived with my mum for a long time. I think it feels a bit odd, but just kind of work-wise and logistically, it does give me a little bit more freedom in the house. So during my work hours, this house is free of crazy toddlers, so it just gives me a little bit more freedom to move about, basically. I can go and get myself a cup of tea whenever I want. The room upstairs looks great. I suddenly panicked that we wouldn't have enough storage space in our new dressing room because we filled it quite nicely in there. But I take it back because I think our wardrobes are actually going to be as tall as the ones in there, but they're just going to go all the way to the ceiling. So that's obviously a very tall room. Whereas our ones are going to be as tall, but they'll hit the ceiling, they'll be fully built in. So that's made me feel a bit better, because I was like, because I haven't even brought everything down. I haven't brought stuff down that doesn't fit, and I haven't brought my winter stuff down, obviously. So I was panicking for a second. I was like, how am I going to fit everything in the new dressing room? So yes, it's all change all of a sudden. Okay, welcome back. You're all up to date now. So the rest of this vlog is going to be a little speed reading session. They're called reading sprints in the book world, I don't know, but I'm on a deadline, people, okay? So I've got a deadline for an article for Sunday Times tomorrow. I'm supposed to be putting together some summer reading picks, so it needs to be things that are kind of engrossing holiday reads. So probably for most readers, the less experimental stuff, which have been published this year but can be paperbacks published this year. Hence why I think I'm going to include Ordinary Monsters by J.M. Nero, which I believe has come out in paperback now. So I need to have 5 books. Unfortunately, due to other work commitments this week, I have not really had the time to do the reading, and I only got given this article last week. So hence why I'm running a little behind. I'll take you downstairs and I'll show you my shortlist in a moment. But yeah, gosh, I'm tired today. I stayed up a little late reading, obviously, because I have been able to do a little bit, but I'll take you through that in a second. And then Ines decided to get up 2 hours earlier than she usually does this morning. So I am a little dazed and confused and tired, but we're gonna roll with it. And yeah, today I need to read 2 books, basically. That's not going to happen, but I need to read a fair chunk of 2 books, and then we'll see how we go from there. Let's go downstairs and I'll chat you through my little shortlist. Okay, let's talk shortlist of books that I'm trying to read in this vlog. So I've read 2 of the 5 books that I'm going to include on my list already, but I did kind of want to include 3 new books that I haven't talked about on there in life before. I know that's making my life hard. The first book on the list is In Ascension by MacInnes. We are doing this one for book club for August, which is really exciting. I'm almost positive I'm going to like and include this, so I'm kind of leaving it to last. Fingers crossed. And then for the other 2 spots, I was looking at 4 books. So Lone Women by Victor LaValle, The Ferryman by Justin Cronin, who wrote The Passage, which is kind of the Passage trilogy, which is well known, I think. And then another well-known sci-fi author is Leckie. She's had a new book out called Translation State, which is set in her Imperial Raj, don't quite know how to say it, universe, which is where her most famous books are set, apparently, but this is a standalone. So now, I've already ruled Lone Women out. I had to rule one out pretty quickly, I think, and it's not that it's a bad book by any means. I have to be a little bit ruthless when I do these sorts of reading sprints where I'm reading for a particular article. I didn't feel particularly sort of gripped by it, or like it would be the right fit for this particular article. It's not to say that it wouldn't be like an enjoyable read. Not 100% my cup of tea, maybe, stylistically. I ruled that one out already, and I'm about 100 and something pages into The Ferryman. I'm going back and forth with this one. Sometimes I'm liking it, sometimes I'm less convinced. So what I'm going to do now, with that in mind, oh, and the final book, by the way, did I not just, I didn't mention this, is The Change. No, it's not called The Change. I keep thinking it's called The Change. It's called The Strange. It's by Nathan Ballingrud, who, interestingly, is an author that's come up in our Discord server recently because Alex read his collection of short stories, North American Lake Monsters, and then I was researching for this article and it came through, and I, put it on my shortlist because it looked like it had good reviews and it was an interesting concept. When I went to search it, North American Lake Monsters came up and I was like, oh, it's the same guy. So he is an author I'm suddenly kind of a little bit intrigued by. Yes, I'm reading that one on my Kindle. I don't have a physical copy of that one. I started that one last night, and although I'm not 1000% sold on it, I was just reading it while I was eating my breakfast then, and I felt really compelled to continue, I really wanted to read more of it. So that's a good sign. So the only one I haven't really dipped into yet is Translation State. I read a couple pages the other day, but I haven't really dipped into this one. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to resist the temptation to read a lot more of The Strange, and I'm just going to try and get at least 50 to 100 pages through this one and see how it compares to The Ferryman, I think, because I think it might be between those two, and I'll also continue with The Strange and see how it matches up, see if it continues to be good. But I like the prose style of The Strange, kind of the best out of the ones I've read so far. It's quite an interesting concept actually, but I'll need my Kindle to read out the synopsis because my brain is just not working today. As I said, I am tired. But first, before we do anything else, I have a call at 11, so I do quite want to head outside today. It's a lovely day, so I think I might take a blanket to the park and stay in the park for at least a part of today. Yeah, as I say, I've got a call at 11, so I'm going to be here for that, and then I will go out. But first I need coffee. I really need a coffee. So yeah, I don't know 100% if I'm going to finish all of these books before I write up my reviews, which I know is cheating a little bit, but I will finish them before I do final sign off for my reviews. So I just had my call and I said I was going to leave the house after this tonight. I do feel a bit better since my coffee. My mind feels sharper and less like I have cotton wool inside it. Anyway, as you could see, I was reading a bit more of The Strange whilst I was drinking my coffee, and I'm enjoying it. I just like the style of it. It's just kind of got me. It's gripped me, which we like. So I'm about 20% through it already. It's also a bit shorter than the other books. So I think it might have won the 4th place on my list. So really now it's a battle between Translation State and The Ferryman to see which one I want to put in the 5th place. I think what I'm going to do is I am going to pack up a little bag. I'm going to pop these two in. I'm going to pop my Kindle in. And we're going to head out to the park for a bit and just enjoy some sunshine, and it's going to be really nice, hopefully. I think, as I say, I'm going to leave it in Ascension for last and maybe start it tomorrow. Fingers crossed I like it, but I have faith. I have faith. The lovely Emma recommended it on the Discord, and I've also only heard wonderful things about it from basically anyone I've heard has read it. So I'm really, really looking forward to it. Let's head to the park. Let's enjoy some sunshine. I'm wondering if I should get myself a little packed lunch on the way, or I should make myself a packed lunch. Enjoying Translation State a lot, actually. It's got 3 kind of perspectives that it follows, and one of them is a scary alien. A scary alien who I think has got some human DNA or something, so it's like some sort of mix between alien and human, and it's pretty creepy. A pretty creepy perspective so far. And yeah, I'm just enjoying the strangeness of it. It's got quite kind of a weird way about it. I think it's got some interesting themes, and so far the Ferryman has slipped down my list. I'm thinking it could be this one and The Strange for my last 2 positions after In Ascension. So I'm going to keep reading it to about the 100-page mark before I make any kind of final decisions. It's not that I kind of want to finish The Ferryman as well, because I kind of want to see what the reveal is, but perhaps not in the next 2 days, and I might not include it in my article, but it's not to say that it's not a book with interesting things to maybe share with me. We shall see. So as you can see, I'm home again. I was there for a couple of hours, but it's hot outside, and I realised I wasn't really like as focused as I need to be. You know, you're at the park, people having conversations near you, it's hot, maybe you're a little bit uncomfortable, and right now I need to be like fully in focus mode and really reading quickly. So I decided to come home and be in a cooler, more comfortable environment. But at least I went outside today. I walked. This is all good for me. But now I need to get down to it. So I am going to get to it and do as much speed reading as possible. So really the goal is today to get as far as possible with translation state and the strange, and see how we go from there, because tomorrow I'll be dedicating mostly to in Ascension, I think. I have a fab now, so I'm happy. So I hope you can see me okay. You're literally far across the room from me because of the lens that I've got on, but it's obviously much later. We had our dinner, which was a very delicious Mediterranean rice thing that Zach makes, and I have not made as much progress as I wanted, obviously, but 276 pages through. It's pretty speedy to read, so I think I could even finish this tonight in a couple of hours if I stay up a little late. But obviously I haven't made that much progress with The Strange or in Ascension, so I'm a little worried about that. I think tomorrow I'm going to try and blast through as much of The Strange as possible as long as I finish this. Realised since this is a reading vlog, I should probably tell you how I'm feeling about the book and if I'm enjoying it, and I am enjoying it. It's quite odd, like it's quite strange. It's kind of got into quite a lot of bureaucracy, almost like alien bureaucracy, which I think is enjoyable in its own way, but it's not really where I expected the book to go. I'm really enjoying, as I said, the kind of alien perspective, this kind of human-alien hybrid. It's quite interesting after having just read Dawn, which is very different in many, many ways, but maybe some of the themes you could say were quite similar. This kind of feels like maybe like a descendant from the likes of Dawn. It also deals with kind of gender things as well, so yeah, that's quite an interesting comparison to make. I think it's kind of delicately written and quite sensitively written, particularly this alien perspective. And actually there's a perspective of a kind of middle-aged woman in it as well, which I think is quite sensitively portrayed too. So I'm liking the style of it, but yeah, it feels quite odd, it feels quite unique, I suppose. And I'm definitely intrigued enough to try her other Imperial Raj books. I definitely think it's worthy of a place on the list. So yes, I do wonder, I'm very interested to see how it ends, and in general just I'm enjoying it and just feel a little bit more strongly about it than I did about the Ferryman. I'm going to get ready for bed and maybe do a little bit more. Good morning, welcome back. So before I went to bed last night, I did manage to finish Translation State. Very strange, weird, but quite wonderful. Many interesting ideas in here. Not a perfect book, but definitely has me intrigued, as I said, to read more of Leckie's writing. And yeah, quite unlike quite a lot of stuff I've read, which I like, obviously. I was quite surprised, as I said, about kind of the direction it took, kind of delving into the lore almost, and what being a human means. I don't think it was maybe the most interesting treatment of that ever that I've read, but it was certainly unique, and there were other ideas which I thought were really interesting. But anyway, as you've seen, I have been avidly reading The Strange this morning, really enjoying it actually the more I go through it as well. Again, kind of got this weird edge to it. So it's set in a world where Mars is colonized in the 1930s, so it has this nostalgic, old-fashioned style to it almost. And this girl lives in this colony, New Galveston, and they mine something called the Strange on Mars, and they send it back to Earth. But Earth has gone silent, so suddenly those that are living on Mars are basically stranded there with no communications from Earth. And obviously this brings up various different tensions going on, but also at the same time, her father owns a diner and it gets robbed at the beginning of the book, and so she sets out on a path to get justice for her and her father when she feels that the sheriff is failing her. And so it's definitely got a True Grit feel, a Western feel. If you've read True Grit and you liked it, if you like that kind of plucky teenage girl character, that's definitely an influence here. And then also we've got that kind of old-fashioned sci-fi, like they fly saucers, not spaceships, and that kind of thing. 60s, 70s sci-fi stuff as well. It's just really interesting combination of things. And then we've got this almost Vandermeer-esque weirdness as well. So I'm really enjoying it. So I'm a little worried about my Ascension reading at the minute, and as you've seen, I've been reading basically since the moment that I said goodbye to the baby this morning. No time for makeup today, I'm afraid. I've got a pimple patch between my eyes as well. So I'm just reading voraciously, basically. So yeah, I'm thinking at the moment that maybe I'll send off 4 of the reviews. Say that I'll send in Ascensions over on Monday. That's kind of what I'm thinking at the moment. But we are hosting my stepmom and my sisters from America over the weekend, so I don't know how much reading I'm going to be able to get done. So I should kind of read as much of it as possible today. So we'll see how we get on. But I think I would quite like to finish The Strange because I feel like I'm going to need to know where it goes to give a good review. So plus it's a little shorter than the other books, and I feel like I can get through it. So I'm going to keep going through that as quickly as possible, and I will speak to you again soon. I'm in love, so I just took off my pimple patch, and it's looking a little odd. But I just finished The Strange. I feel strangely emotional. I was just reading the acknowledgements. I feel quite attached to this book, actually. You know when you read something in a really short period of time, sometimes it has quite a strong effect on you. And it was quite the ending, and I really liked it. Gonna let it settle in my mind for a bit and kind of see how much it sticks with me, but I feel something for this book. It's got me in the feels. Something I didn't mention before is it's quite kind of it's very beautiful. So it's a lot of really atmospheric imagery. It really presents itself before your eyes. I think he does a lot with lighting and the colour, the colour of the lighting, especially because it's set on Mars. There's lots of kind of red and pink and russet. So yeah, it was very beautiful actually. And yeah, I just really loved reading the acknowledgements. I might read you a little bit of it actually. The Strange is a love letter to Ray Bradbury, Isaac Asimov, and Frank Herbert. Definitely see the Frank Herbert in there as well, but much better because I didn't like Dune. When I was a teenager, fantasy and science fiction provided life-saving doses of wonder and possibility as the world seemed to shrink and grow tight around me. When I returned to the genre as an adult, the work of Lucius Shepard, Maureen F. McHugh, and James P. Blaylock did the same thing, guiding me back to a place I thought I'd lost. I've not read any books from any of those people, but I'm now going to go and look them up. This book is also a love letter to westerns, a genre which has only become richer as it grapples with historical realities instead of indulging in mythology. Charles Portis is here, who wrote True Grit, certainly, but so are Larry McMurtry, Molly Gloss, and Paulette Giles. And thank you, reader, for trusting me with your money and your time. I will never take that for granted. I don't know, something about it just got me. So yeah, that's a highly recommended one from me. I'm going to read his other books, his stories. I don't really want to move on to another book now, but I'm going to start in Ascension now, but I'm taking 5 minutes to let it settle. So, a little update from me. I just sent off the first 4 reviews. So it's just missing in Ascension, basically, the article. And I said I would send that on Monday because, yeah, I was just getting worried about the time and I obviously needed to actually do some writing. Whenever I sit down to do some writing, in general, it's pretty torturous, but the first half an hour is always so torturous, like just trying to get words out, especially because I think I'm a little tired this week. We did it. We've sent something off. And yeah, so hopefully, I mean, I'm going to have to just try and make some time this weekend to read in Ascension, basically, so I can get that review out on Monday for them. And yeah, hopefully that's all sorted-ish. So the pressure is off slightly, so I can reply to some emails I've been ignoring for the last couple of days in my kind of frenzy, and maybe eat some food, have a cup of tea or something, just take a breath for a second. So yeah, I'm going to do that now, and then I'm going to read a little bit more, I think. Hi, my loves. I hope you can see me. It's obviously much later in the day. This afternoon we went to my mum's house, had a pizza. I intended to film it, but I didn't. To be fair, I was mostly following the baby around and not doing anything particularly exciting, but we'll save activities like that for another vlog, I suppose. But yes, I'm going to sign off now. I cannot explain to you how little I am functioning right now. I'm really, really super tired. I have not been getting much sleep this week at all. I think I've been using my brain a fair bit as well. Forgive me if I don't make a whole lot of sense in this whole video, to be honest, but particularly in this section. I'm very much looking forward to going to sleep. I am about, how far through am I? I'm almost 100 pages through in Ascension and really, really enjoying it so far. It's got this kind of unassuming, quiet narrator who I think it's going to be interesting to watch her progression over the course of the book. Possibly unreliable, I'm not sure. But she has this kind of quite subdued, the whole book is really about water. She's a marine biologist, and so it's got this kind of subdued underwater feeling, but also this kind of tugging feeling, like almost like an undertow or something, like it's pulling me under into the story. Almost hypnotic kind of narrative, but still very readable, nothing particularly kind of experimental, but yeah, it's very sciencey, which I adore. And yeah, I'm just absolutely loving it so far. Super different to The Strange, so for a minute I was kind of like in a bit of a funny, like having to switch gears, but I'm enjoying it a lot. I kind of knew I would, to be honest, and I'm really, really excited to read it as part of book club in August as well. I think I'm going to kind of speed read it this weekend, and then I'll read it again in August. I don't know if I've ever reread a book in the same like couple of months, or like in the same year even. So that should, oh no, of course I have. I did a lot of that at university, but outside of university, I'm not sure I have. Yes, I really hope you enjoyed this reading vlog. Let me know if you did, if you'd like to see more. I know I have done reading vlogs in the past, but if you'd like to see more of these kind of condensed reading vlogs where I read like a lot of books over a short period of time, and kind of mostly talk about those, let me know if you enjoyed it. It's something I enjoy doing and creating, so I'll probably do more based on that alone, but it would be lovely to know that you enjoyed it as well. But yes, my loves, I've got to get to sleep, got a busy weekend ahead as well, so I'm looking forward to my sleep. Thank you so much for watching today, and I will see you again very soon. Bye.